classroom.
Thanks, Brandy. And I just want to note, this is a school spirit week for us, and Brandy has joined with Wacky Dress Wednesday. And so that's what's up with that. Just my quick share for you all is, I don't know if you caught this special edition that was in the news review going into spring break. It was the Sunday paper going to spring break. And it was an intense section of articles about the Douglas County timber community. And we were kind of proud. We were featured in it with many logging firms and mill owners. Our youth corps program and students were given an article in the newspaper. They've been hard at work out there all year, planting with the Bureau of Land Management and the U.S. Forest Service, working in the Archie Creek zone and replanting the forest. The Oregon Youth Corps program, we have students who are enrolled in a class. There's 10 of them. They go all day, Mondays and Thursdays. They earn CTE, science, elective, and work experience credit for their time in the program. And so we were just very proud, and our students were very proud to be seen in their work, partnering to help the lands of Douglas County and be seen as part of the local timber communities. That was a big win for us, and I just wanted to share that note. And so that's what we were here for today, just to share some more color of things that are happening in our school community. And yes, any questions for us?
Anyone have a?
I have a couple questions. Do you have any update on what you're doing to meet your goals? Any update on any changes that you guys have thought about or strategized about with your board about to maybe increase the success of your goals?
I will say, Director Bishop, that the report and the feedback from our last visit with you all has been discussed at our board. I was directed by Jared just to be here today to share some quick things about our school communities. So I don't have an exact report, an update for you, unfortunately. Do you have anything, Brandy?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not done.
Oh, you're not done. Okay, sorry.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Do you have any estimate what your graduation rate will be anticipated for this year?
As a percentage, I do not. I believe at this point in the school year, we are at 16 graduates already completed and have exited the school year.
We have potentially another 20 graduates.
Okay. I'd love that information when you get that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely have that.
Do you, or even the numbers of your on track to graduate?
I know that will be a part of our June presentation.
Okay.
I assume that's our
Okay.
next quarterly where we bring you back the dashboard data.
Okay,
And so at that time, we would be prepared to answer those questions.
okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I guess I was being too efficient. Yes, Director Crimmins.
One more.
Oh, and then Reverend Johnson.
I think you had said in the last meeting that we had with you about some other resources of people or organization that could assist you in maybe with the educational programs more.
Yes.
Were you able to tap into any other assistance?
I believe I was referring to Cognia. We are in the middle of an accreditation year. Our accreditation visit is May 11th. And Brandy and I have been working to go through 39 standards and give them artifacts about our school processes to prepare for it's still a virtual visit this year and review. We also, a part of that, our organization, because we have two schools, we have Phoenix Charter School and then Deer Creek School, the alternative program that's partnered with Adapt Integrative Healthcare. We are going to be accredited as an organizational system. And so there's a deeper dive than normally we would have in an accreditation. So We are in the middle of that process. I'm happy to bring the report from that process in June if it's been prepared by Cogni at that time.
How are you feeling? Are you feeling confident that it's going to go well, or are you pretty nervous about it?
No, I'm not nervous about it. In the past accreditation, which was in 2016, I believe we had recognized 3 powerful practices and 2 needs improvements in that process. And so that is something that's typical for schools. There's always a mixed outcome of things that you need to work better or things that you are doing well that comes from the visit. And so it does have us reassess many mechanisms in the school. One that we are looking at wholesomely, and we have been using our SAIA dollars, the student investment account dollars, is to create some faculty leaders to have what's called a site council, which is a group of stakeholders such as faculty, parents, students who work on English and math goals for the school and meet monthly. And so that is something that we've remembered or excuse me, been coached in the early meetings with our accreditor coordinator, and we are in motion to put that into play, if that makes sense.
So you have a specific coordinator that you work with?
Yes, so from the Cognia Corporation, which all Roseburg Public Schools also have a relation, it used to be called Advanced Ed. We have a specific coordinator who asks for materials from us. We give them materials, they review the materials, and that's kind of how the process goes out. And then there's a team of 3 to 4 educators who take a 3-day deep dive into materials and come up with a report of findings and then recommendations.
Okay. Are we privy to that, or is the board
I'm happy to share that
get
report.
those
Yeah,
kind of reports? Or, okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
not a problem, Director.
Toot my own horn. That article that you referred to, 2 years ago, the only company they featured was DR Johnson Lumber, where I worked 30 years. That was the only one in the whole article. Huh?
Oh, that was in the newspaper. All right. I think that's all. We're good. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, we have work to do now.
That's right.
So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. In your packets, I have a short slide deck intended just to kind of walk us along. We're going to be up and moving today. And so just FYI, Dr. Weber, Aaron, team over there, we'll be moving around today. It should be fun. So this is,
Watch out.
I'm excited for a work session, by the way. And this is, of all the things I think a board has responsibility over, tonight is probably one of the most important things, and probably one of the most exciting things to talk about, because we're going to be talking about kids and the vision for kids tonight. I want to just walk you through a couple things. It's not really a walk down memory lane. It may seem like that. But when I was hired in 2019 and went through the process of getting to the board and the school district, I asked a question about a strategic plan, and there wasn't an adopted strategic plan at that time. And so with the help of many people in this room, we were able to develop a strategic plan. That was through a lot of conversations with staff and board and parents, and involved some kids around trying to get a sense of what we were trying to accomplish and what our focus areas were. I asked the board to make these my goals in 2019. And these were my goals approved by the board at the time in 2019. We moved to 2000. Is that better? I think I had it on. Maybe it's got a battery issue. So I come tonight to the board to talk about, I can trade anybody here. So I come to the board tonight, this work session, and a work session is a great place to do this because when I presented this in 2019, this strategic plan was a 3-year look. And so these items were developed around the edge and this middle was developed and said, we're going to do this for 3 years and come back to it. So here we are. The board shifted and changed a little bit. We're here, we're moving work forward. And so that's what got us here tonight. If we go to the next slide there, you're probably familiar with the goals. I will kind of walk through these real quick. Our current goals, the middle part is really what the most important part is, and that's on the bottom, that's the main goal. But in order to accomplish this, we really felt like as a school district, we needed to focus on 5 key areas. The first area was around instruction. We didn't have a common agreed upon expectation or belief or understanding collectively the school district of what good instruction looked like. And for a school, that's problematic. So we've talked about, we adopted an instructional framework. We've been working through that process. And that was the first one to make sure our teachers had what they need to do the work for our kids. And that was around an appropriate time instruction. We really focused on making sure our kids felt like they were seen, heard, and respected. We needed to work on some effective operations, leadership development, and also the development of systems so that we could get a better understanding of what we were doing was working. We had this goal, which you've seen, that our kids would master grade level academic standards, attain the behavioral and social emotional needs to thrive, and graduate from high school with a plan to achieve success. That's where we were. So I want to visit this tonight, but before we do and see what adjustments we need to make and engage the board and some chart pack paper and working together tonight. But before we do, I want to talk about 2 other quick things. I want to go to the next slide here. Over the last few years, as we've been focusing on these pillars, we've developed a couple of frameworks that I think are important. And that's on this and on that 3rd page. In our work with the Center for Educational Leadership, we've been focusing on that first pillar of appropriate and timely instruction. And something that we have really been growing on and thinking about is really what we call this kind of inverse triangle. Oftentimes, the bottom of this triangle is curriculum, and we think about that sometimes as the most important thing. But really, as we think about the importance of curriculum, instructional strategies, and instructional vision, and even our vision for student learning, what we've needed to focus mostly on is what is our vision and what are our hopes for the experience kids have in our schools. And this is work we've been doing as a district. I think it's important to know that's work that we're still working on right now. And this is really important work, I think, for tonight. So that's one of the frameworks I want you to see. And the next one's on the next page. And this has been interesting because as we've been doing work with students, this is so interesting as we've been asking kids about what do they want in our schools. 2 things have emerged when asking kids about what do you want? What kind of experience do you want in school? And ironically, the intersectionality between their response and what we want for kids, and actually the state in which kids do their deepest learning. In other words, where we get the highest return on the investment of children is the same thing. And it is this: kids say when they are happy and they are proud, they have their best time at school. What we find is when our kids are happy and they're proud, that's when kids are at their best as learners. And so I think it's important also to share this. Like our vision for student learning, what we want for kids matches well in terms of we want kids to be there with us and think, get into deep learning and retain and think deeply and work together and make sure things are relevant. Kids want the exact same thing in the fact that they want to be proud of what they do. In other words, they want relevant work. They want to have things that are meaningful. They want to make sure that they're known by their name and they're known by their needs and their strengths. The kids are saying, we want to be happy. That's what makes us happy. We feel connected to school. So with that in mind, I want to go to the strategic plan and to take a look and say, as we relook at a new strategic plan for 3 to 5 years, I would anticipate in July or August as the board would adopt the new strategic plan. I want to focus on the middle of this. It doesn't have to look like a circle. That's how we put it together 3 years ago. But I want to start in the middle, and this is really the board's work. One of the main things the board does is a board of education directors, you set the vision for our students in our school district. And tonight, I want to start by just having you think about a question. What do you want for our kids? What experience do you want our kids to have in our schools? So I want to give you a few minutes to think about that. Then what I want to invite you to do is grab a Sharpie or trade with somebody if you don't like the color. We have some chart pack paper. We can put this anywhere you want. There's some places up here. I want you to write down, just after you do some thinking, what do you want? As a board of directors who sets the vision for our school district, for our kids and our community, what do you want their experience to be? I think this should live in the middle of a document, the strategic plan. This is what I will guarantee. I will organize the supports to support your vision as directors. So I want you to do a little bit of thinking, and I would invite you. So process-wise, here's what I'm thinking tonight, but we'll see where this goes. Write down what's on your mind. And then if we've got a bunch of things up here, that's great. And then what we can do is we can eventually highlight, or we can underline or circle those keywords or phrases and come back together. And hopefully by tonight, as a board, we will have some draft of the vision this board has for the experience for kids in our school. So any questions? Okay. All right. I'll give you a few minutes to think, do some writing. You've got this to write on, whatever. And when you're ready,
Can we give them markers too?
totally. This is the board's work. Absolutely.
You don't want it.
But when you're ready, if you want to post this up, and this can just be your thinking, and then we'll start
Do we
to,
have any extra markers?
we have extra markers. Yep. Okay, yep,
I don't think there is one at her desk,
okay.
but I think. Have some experienced educators, students.
And this is the beauty of a work session, because it's just writing out work.
Do you have ideas? Mary, think about your very best experience at Roseburg Schools. What made it the very best? All right. Get some other ideas. Share.
We still need more markers.
Okay.
If you like a whiteboard, Dad, don't do the sharp kind of whiteboard, but I've got these ones that I like here.
Is that one not working well?
Really got spelling. Oh, I really am.
I didn't think about what words I'm gonna use, so I can make sure they're spelled correctly.
I know,
I'm really good at that. Just
I'm
change the
not
whole
good at
sentence
spelling.
structure.
I always tell my students that on the first day. There's two
What I
things
do.
I don't do, spelling and art.
Yeah.
So just know that you'll be asked to draw for me and you'll have to. And we all take these with that.
I think I break the spell checker on my laptop a lot. It just starts overheating.
It's like when it doesn't even know what word you're trying to spell, that's the bad thing.
Then I have to switch my phone and go to Google and then try and type it in there because it gets me more in the right direction.
Well, profession, that's pretty stereotypical. The doctor and the teacher. Yes.
Always want to know.
What?
I can tell you,
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I'm not thinking of everybody else in this room.
I don't know. I don't spell it.
I think everybody in this room. I'm very good at
It's all in my.
Spell a word.
This is more comfortable than my last. Mine doesn't have the sound.
So as people are doing some writing, and again, this is intended to be just a work session, just kind of working through things. I'd encourage you to write. Feel free to go by other people's things. And if there's something like, let's say I'm by Dr. Bishop here, I love this, maybe in a different color, whatever, or just in the same color, highlight it, underline it, circle it, kind of those key things that jump out to it. And we're going to start to do a process. We're going to work together, individually and together. So supposed to be a little bit like the museum, but you can actually write on some of the, pieces, which you can't always do in the museum. So I mean, I would encourage you just to kind of like get around the room and see what's written. If there's things that connect with you, you can circle it, highlight it, write a note, write it.
Yeah, but this is not if they can rewrite.
Yeah.
There you go. Good modeling right there, Robert. I appreciate that. Very good. Everybody, yeah, circle it. Hey, I love this. Question about that.
How you doing, Andrew?
Good, how are you?
You talked about the reason and purpose of things, but I think that can go with relevancy, but do you think it's more different or is that?
We got a paddle.
I really feel strongly about the critiquing and debating, deep thinking that goes along with it. So I'd like to put something on that. I want kids to think deeply about things, which includes that analytical thinking, that debate. Just the discourse in the classroom, it's not just together, but
Finding some gold in there.
Come on through.
Go to the next one.
There you go.
Okay, I'm doing the same thing.
If you want, my hand, Howard his Sharpie and see if he wants to vote yea or nay.
I asked, I think you're right now, he's just taking a look and, yeah.
Do you want a marker, Howard? That's good. Okay.
What's yours, Jared?
Oh, it's.
Come on.
All right, so here's what I'm going to ask you to do. So what we're going to do is this. If you want to participate, I encourage you to participate. But if you don't like this, well, you can do things at your own pace. But having kind of been around the room and seeing, maybe getting an idea of the temperature of the room around, I see some hearts and some yeses and some check marks and some things. Spend a little bit of time looking at those. And what I encourage you to do is head back to a spot where you could develop a sentence or two or some keywords that really embody what you think this experience for our kids should look like. I'll give you some individual time to do that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of protocol called the 1, 2, 4 all protocol, which is start. And then let's say I'm working next to Becky, I'm going, and then Becky and I'll get together, take a look, and then develop something kind of on that. Then we'll go into 4, and then people work on that together. Okay. You got that, class? Robert? All right, here we go. All right. So let's talk a little bit again. Whatever. Sorry, too soon. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. The idea of this is to be thinking, again, the intent is to say, you know, what do we want for our kids? So that we can take our district resources and organize ourselves to get that result for the board. So this is what this is. This is really getting kind of what's on people's minds up a little more visible. So I would encourage you to take a look at what those are. What I'm going to ask to do now is this. Knowing that, having been around the room, having some things in your mind, I want you to start by yourself, piece of paper and a pencil, writing down a sentence or two about what you think this should, you know, some ideas around what this could be. What do you think the vision for students in our school district should be? What do you think that center key area that would be in the middle of a strategic plan? In other words, that's going to set up everything else we need to do to accomplish that thing. What should that be? Start by yourself. So I'm going to model this. I've been around the room, seeing this. I love that keyword. I'm going to take a minute or two to write my sentence or ideas down. Then when I finish up by myself, I'm going to grab a partner and say, hey, Janet, it was okay if we work together?
Absolutely.
Very good. Okay. So we're then going to take a look at each other's, say, oh, I love that, whatever. And then what we're going to do is do a new one that kind of merges, or Janet and I is mind melding together. Okay. So I go from 1 to 2, and then this group is going to get with another group that has 2. And we're going to work on that and see where we go. And then we're gonna come back together after we do one by ourselves, two together, and then 4 people together. All right? Any questions? Okay, so Cameron,
Yes,
what are we going to do?
we were just commenting on your teacher is showing and we are.
Oh, I love it. This is, I just,
Very proud.
thank
So
you.
You're gonna take some private work time and come up with your own sentence, find a partner, meld yours together. You and your partner will find another partner and come up with a schmatter.
Okay, very good. And Maren, can you help remind us why we're doing this again?
This teacher's really showing.
It's very important. You need to develop a center for which everything else.
Yeah, thank you. Very good. Okay. You can work at your pace when you feel, now I would just say this to go here though. Some of us are very comfortable sharing our ideas. And for some people, this is less comfortable, maybe sharing an idea. Okay. So just as you approach somebody, I don't want this to be uncomfortable. This should be something where we're really sharing ideas. So just know as you work on your sentence, the person you talk to may not be as comfortable. So just work together after, when you find a partner, and we'll kind of work by ourselves, grab a partner, then grab another group. And this group should be growing to kind of start with yours and recreating one each time you meet with another group. Okay. All right.
I am confused from the very beginning.
Yes.
This sentence we're writing, this
It's the sentence that will replace this
This
sentence.
sentence.
In the middle.
This
Yes.
sentence is going to replace in this new strategic plan. It will be, no, this will be draft tonight. So it's not super high stakes. This is going to be the center of the new 2022 to 2026, if we go that far or longer, strategic plan.
So we're rewriting
Correct.
this, Charles, in summary.
And again, the frame is, yeah.
It is much longer than whatever
Yeah.
it takes and profoundly better. Already, whatever you've thought. Any model that says whatever in it.
Oh, my.
but that's how we're going to organize this. Our resources will be directed toward the expectations the board has about how our students' experience looks. And so, so what I'd encourage you to do is, and these can sometimes be a little bit exhausting, but share if you've developed something within a smaller group you feel good about, like, yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect and polished. This is all draft. Then maybe go grab another group. Just maybe check in with another group. Hey, I see 4 people in the back doing this. There's people over here, and see if there can be some commonalities. And then in the end, and this will be the last activity tonight, once those are kind of like those drafts are done, we'll just share those out. Again, maybe and just do a quick highlight. What did we see? Were there themes there? And that's actually where we'll end tonight. Is that my time up? Someone insert my timer. Oh, sorry. Timer. Do you feel like you're ready to keep going and meet with another group? Do you feel like you've gone as far as you want to go tonight?
You get to stick with your partner.
Yeah, I would say stick with your partner. So I'll model this. So what I would do is, let's say I've been working with Cameron and Janet here, and maybe Andrew and Charles and Ann over here. And we say, hey, we kind of put something together. Could we share those? Maybe share those two and just see if there's some, maybe if you want to come up with one is great. And then we'll look for some commonalities next steps, okay?
All right, we're enjoying these guys.
It was really cool.
Okay, my friends, it's 8:00. Thank you very much. Oh, excuse me, 7:00. My apologies.
I'm gonna send you to second grade.
It's
so they can
8:00.
Practicing on their clock.
And is it 8:00 somewhere? That's actually probably not true. All right. Thank you for engaging in this activity. Although hopefully you found some value in this. Anytime we have an opportunity to talk about what our hopes are for our kids is time well spent. And again, I'll just reiterate, this is the beginning of a thinking process about what the board's vision for students will be next year. So as we redesign this strategic plan, this is a good start for us tonight. We'll have, Janet's going to capture the thoughts tonight. If you have your sheets of paper at the end, you can give those to Janet and I. We'll make sure we get those out to the board. And I'll probably send something out that says, what are your wonderings? What'd you see? What'd you wonder? And we can go from there. But I thought what might be helpful for the whole group, because we didn't get a chance to hear from everybody, is for those that came up with a statement, may have been by yourself, may have been with two people or multiple people. If you just want to share those tonight, would be helpful. We'll capture those and get those out to the group, and we'll just start down here. So I know we had maybe Maren, you want to help there in that group?
So we have a beginning and an ending. We're still trying to figure out what to program. But the main things that we want to emphasize is that students learn in a safe and inclusive environment, which fosters things like success, not just within academics, but practical life skills, and that their reasoning extends beyond just the classroom. That goes into the relevant and critical thinking, and they leave each day feeling happy and proud.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the group? Any thoughts on that? Okay, thank you for sharing that. Great. All right, next group, whichever group you were in.
Oh, I got
Okay.
it down here. So we came up with a extremely long run-on sentence that is, students will be creatively taught how to be resourceful and empowered to grow each year. Learn in a safe and loving learning environment that they can all be proud to belong to, and celebrate our accomplishments together.
Okay, wonderful, great. Thoughts? Okay, great. I do have, if you do have your mic, it might help the few participants we have who are with us tonight. If you want to turn that on, we'll go to Melissa and the group you were with. Oh, that was it? Okay, great. So Robert.
Yeah, so as I contemplated this assignment, I started looking at all the statements and keywords, and it really came back to your opening statement that the things that are up on the wall and the keywords are really more on that circle, but how we get there is that we ensure our students will be happy and proud. And until we can do that, we really can't get at any of the other things that are around that circle. So mine's a very simple statement. Our students will be happy and proud.
Thank you. Next.
All right, I needed to start and end. So I said, when they get on the bus, they feel welcomed and happy. And when they leave, they had a good day. They felt like their work was valued and they are eager to come back the next day.
Thank you.
Mine is similar to others. Becky and I worked on this. Our students will be empowered with the support and resources to be challenged for increased personal and educational growth and development in an environment that is loving, safe, inclusive, and helpful.
Great, thank you. All right, did we miss anybody?
We
They
did
were on
our
my team.
dance.
Okay, okay, I know the teams have blended around, okay. Okay, so what was, thank you for that. I think this will give us a good, kind of a nice start to our canvas as we design something for the next couple of years. We'll get this out to the board to do some thinking about. We'll have some time to do that, but I do really appreciate the opportunity to the work sessions are fun. They're supposed to be this way. There's supposed to be a chance to kind of do some wondering and thinking. As we move forward toward next school year, I'll also provide the board an update on where we are with each of those current pillars measures. So we could take, for example, where are we at with leadership development? What does that look like? Are we there? Have we accomplished this one? Does it need to be sunsetted? So we'll give you a little bit more information on where we are on the outside. And this will help as we get organized for the next year to make sure our kids have an experience that the board envisions our students have. Okay, Madam Chair.
Anyone else have comments for the good of the company? You may want to share or add. Charles isn't even looking at me. Do you want to add anything, Charles? Okay. No, I think we're all on the same page and it's a matter of finding the right words. I will say, I shared with these guys, I don't know how to encapsulate the feeling, but last fall I was at a middle school cross country meet, and I always love cross country coaches because they'll take anyone. They don't care how fast you run or if you've ever run or anything. They'll just take anyone. And they have some really elite athletes, and they have some kids that it's really a struggle every day, and they make them work hard. And then the kids really get to measure their personal growth. But I was at this cross country meet, and most of the kids had finished every one of them went back and ran that kid in. And it was powerful. And that is what we want. I mean, that's what we want for all of our kids every day, right? In their math and in their science and in whatever experience they're having, this idea that every kid ran that race still, right? And the first place kid still got first place. It didn't take anything away from the fast runners, but everyone belonged. And it was so powerful. And that's what I think we're trying to capture. We just have to find the right words. So.
Beautifully said. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. You want to adjourn us and we're out?
You're adjourned.
Okay, thank you.